So, welcome, Libby, to Better Waste Services podcast.
Hello.
Lovely, Tim's here as well, and editor of Let's Recycle since Feb 2024.
Yes.
And we first met just a couple of months after that, really, didn't we? When you literally...
Yeah, in the deep end.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. And that was on the judging panel for the Awards of Excellence.
Yeah, you came into the room with your all pink suit and trainers.
Oh,
Very
wow.
cool.
Was I rocking that?
Yeah.
It's one of my favourite suits. I think that's in about 3 podcasts now, my pink suit, my go-to pink suit. I think I might need to invest in maybe a different colour. That's actually Nina's fault from Bartek, because I saw her at a bug event and she had this amazing bright pink, and I was like, I remember that. So I always think if you remember a suit, then you're going to remember the person, and it obviously worked.
Yeah, exactly. Stayed with me.
Yeah, but it was a good day, wasn't it? Because you and I we sat next to each other, and we had this joint kind of situation where we both had the same kind of morals on the entries that were more community based, I guess, rather than...
Yeah, for sure. So being quite new, I wasn't too, sure on the technicalities yet. So obviously that community base came more naturally to me at that time. So yeah, definitely. And it's important to me also. So yeah, I think we definitely gelled on that.
We did. And Tim, you sponsored an award that year as well, didn't you? We were both at the event because that was the first year they had that comedian, didn't they?
Yeah, the first year they had the comedian. Yeah. So we've sponsored a couple of times now. Yeah, and the last one actually, I really liked the winner of that award. That was the stuff that Fife were doing with Andy's Man Club, which has led on to a community project that we're doing as well. Well, I say community project, a charity project. So yeah, I think I'm looking forward to discussing all the sort of stuff that you're involved in as well.
Yeah.
Which kind of brings us on to where did you kind of come from? What's your story? How did you find yourself as the editor of Let's Recycle?
Right. So I studied journalism at college. I didn't go to university. I kind of did a year of A-levels and then knew I wanted to be a journalist from probably when I was in primary school. I was editing the school website and going around doing vox pops at school events and stuff, and head of the podcast club. Ironically, here I am. And yeah, just kind of kept on from there. A-levels, I didn't feel was quite right for me because I had to do multiple different subjects and I knew that I wanted to do journalism. So I, searched for a local journalism course, found Canterbury, and I'm Kent-based, so but the other side of Kent, so it was quite a journey every day. But yeah, so I did a journalism course there, and then went into a local publishing house when I was 18, and then just kind of was an assistant editor, and then worked my way up to what I am now. I started in electrical/dentistry.
Okay.
And then I moved to robotics, and then professional audio, and now I'm in waste.
Wow, that is
Yeah, for sure.
That's a story and a
Varied.
half, isn't it? Very varied.
But it's very interesting how robotics kind of is coming more into waste now, and I'm recognising people that we used to work with and things like that as it kind of all gets a bit more futuristic.
What's your best thing about this job role, do you think now?
I really like my team, to be honest. Mm-hmm. We're all pretty new to the waste sector, but I think we've got lots of ideas, and it just feels like a really well-gelled team. There's only 3 of us, and obviously being quite a big publication in the sector, we have to work, really hard to kind of get the job done. But we love it.
It's always good if you love your job.
Yeah.
Events. So obviously, Tim and I both do a lot of events with you guys anyway.
Sure.
But one of the ones which I really loved recently was the comms conference, because I felt that I actually learned quite a lot in that morning about all different areas that I hadn't really thought of, neurodiversity within waste and food, how that changes depending on which area. So it was obviously London was talking about that campaign they were doing, and then obviously Suez was talking about everything as well, and I just thought it was a really good event. And then you went to the WE conference the other day, and
Yeah, well, I love the comms conference as well. Spotted you in the front row.
Was I wearing the pink suit?
Don't know.
I can't remember.
yeah, so the We conference was at the time of filming a few days ago. And that was really great. I chaired the last session, and the CEO, Elizabeth Anderson of the Digital Poverty Alliance, was part of the case study session. And yeah, it's just... And then, sorry, when she did her session, I discovered that 1 in 5 children live in digital poverty, which is a massive amount. And, you know, everyone from We, the same kind of people every year were kind of sending in questions saying, where can we send We to you? And just everyone rallied in to kind of help. And it was just really nice to see.
And there was a charity there as well.
Yeah. So Digital Poverty Alliance.
Digital Poverty Alliance.
Yeah,
okay.
are a charity. And yeah, and it was just watching kind of networking and community in real time. It was just really nice.
That is amazing. I like the fact that charities are getting more involved. Obviously, we had a podcast a couple of weeks ago with someone we both know about, and Tim Pop. I'm never going to say it right, ever.
Oh, are you talking about the Prop Up Project?
I'm talking about the Prop Up Project. That's exactly it. I couldn't say it when they were sitting in front of us, and I can't say it now. But I just think it's really amazing that these companies are out, these charities are out there, and I'm really hoping that everyone engages with that more, because that one particular is really unique, because it's an area of waste that I had not even a Scooby about. I didn't even think about. When you watch the telly, you just don't think about it.
Yeah.
If I'm honest, I didn't know that all that, if you've got toiletries in the background in a scene, I don't know, on EastEnders, not as though I watched that, but pick a soap, they're real. There's stuff in them. I assume that they were just empty bottles. They're not. It's real product in a real bottle, and then they all just get put in a container after filming, and then charities like the Prop Up Project go in and then redistribute to, you know, women's charities that have fled domestic violence, or children charities where they don't have that.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I didn't even think about it.
And how about the food? Is the food?
Food. I didn't ask about food. But that's not going to last well in a container.
No.
So maybe we should find out where the food goes. I know on certain programs that it's real, because my friend once did a message on Instagram going, are those croissants real on the table? And they were like, yes. I was like, we don't see anyone eat them. So
imagine how many takes you have to do. 20 takes. You have to eat 20 croissants.
Yeah,
I think
there's never any coffee in coffee cups, is there? When they're drinking coffee out of a Starbucks mug or whatever, there's never any coffee in it. You can see they're just throwing it about. There's nothing in there. Yeah.
Even in Love Island reality, they're holding empty cups.
Are they?
Because they're only allowed 1 drink a night.
It's not something I've ever watched. I know it exists, but it's not something I've ever watched, and I don't think I ever will. I just think it's everything that is wrong in letting our children watch programs like that. But I can imagine there's loads of programs that probably have exactly the same, isn't it? Maybe we'll find out. Maybe from this, the millions of people that are going to watch this will let us know where all that food goes, and maybe there's maybe they'll surprise us and say that they give it to the needy straight after.
For sure.
We'll see. Right, okay. So let's go into... I think this is a good place to go into Women into Waste. So, Tim, have you noticed a difference? Because you've been in the waste industry a while now, and I won't say how long. A, don't know.
That, yeah.
B, make you younger. So you've been in it a long time. Have you noticed a difference in women in waste? Because even in my short time in it, in 7 years, I feel that it has changed a bit more, and there are a few more women in it and talking and being involved.
I think when I first started hanging around bin trucks, which sounds weird, but that's essentially what I do quite a lot of. When I first started hanging around bin trucks, if you saw a woman driver or loader, that was something out of the ordinary. I will give an honourable shout out to Nina from North Kesteven, who is my absolute hero of waste, because she runs the waste service in North Kesteven, drives the trucks, loads the bins. She's a one-man army of waste collection in North Kesteven.
Or one woman.
Yes, sorry. Yes, there you go. There you go. Accidental misogyny there. But yes, it was unusual, and now I think it's still, it's still a very minority. It's a minority sport for women. Emptying bins, but there's a lot more, and I probably wouldn't think, oh, a woman now. It's pretty normal.
I even
And
think
so
at like events, it's made a difference. Like when my first year at RWM, all the stands, even anyone supplying waste was predominantly men. I did stand out. I mean, obviously I stand out anyway. Normally a pink suit and 6'2", but I mean, I did feel in the minority at those events, and just generally getting into it, I have felt like. But now, I don't feel quite so. I mean, obviously you're fairly new to it. What do you think? Do you think this is a topic now?
Well, bearing in mind, when I worked in electrical, I think hopefully it's changed now, but it was something like 1% of women are electricians.
Wow.
And, I was going to kind of Parliament and trying to figure out how we could change that. But yeah, I feel like the kind of, we assume, or, the what am I saying? The stereotype is that women will be working within marketing, comms. But I'm finding, generally that's not the case. Me and my colleague Ollie went on a trip to Recycle, and the majority of the women in the factory, the factory were women, and that was really nice to see. So,
I think it'd be really good if it's no longer a conversation topic.
yeah.
That's when I think we've nailed it. Then it's
Yeah,
equality, isn't it? When it's no longer a topic, why do we not see more women talking at events? And that has changed. Last year, I'd say on all panels there was more women talking about waste in some capacity and their opinions being heard. And I mean, I could name more women now than men actually last year talking at events. And I think
there's been a conscious effort in events to bring more women forward into those roles where they're speaking, where they're leading, and that does actually help to to promote the industry to women and girls throughout. Certainly in our industry, in our business, we haven't made any conscious effort to recruit any particular gender or anything, but we have naturally. I think we if I did count it now, we are probably about 50-50 male female.
yeah, I'd say we are as well actually.
Yeah,
I think we're 60% as well in raw. I know that it's not on the ground, but yeah.
I'd love to know the actual stats in the industry, like as a whole, what percentage. I'd love to know that because it's not something I think has ever been looked at. But it would be nice to, because I know that senior positions with women generally across the board in business is still really low. I know that. But I'd like to know the statistics within waste. Maybe we could look at that for a future case study, maybe.
Or if we find out, we can flash them on the screen here.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
good idea.
Yeah, I think you've also got to look at the age profile because that is a definite challenge. Certainly at the operational end, whether it's male or female, we have an aging workforce, and that is a ticking clock really because there are the average age of loaders. I think was it Sandy was saying that his average age was 49, and that's actually a little bit lower than some of the numbers I've heard. So when you've got an average age of a physical workforce that's in their 50s, you've really got a recruitment issue because in 5-10 years they're not going to be there. So how are you recruiting those people? And if you want to replace those people with younger people coming to the industry, you've got to be open to all comers, and you can't just appeal to men. You can't just appeal to one particular demographic. You've got to have an industry that's open to everyone and attractive to everyone.
Which I think Fife are doing, aren't they? That sounds like they're doing. It'd be really interesting to talk to other councils on how they're looking at recruitment because after talking to Fife, I realised that they probably all have very similar demographics and problems because it is majority male workforce on the operational side and in that particular age demographic as well. So all of them, by sheer definition would be having the same problem. So it'd be really interesting to see how all of them are looking at it, because I'm sure that there's other Sandys out there trying to recruit and find people right for the job, whatever their gender.
I saw a study recently where it was like environmental in general, probably if you put kind of environmental or sustainability in the job role, then young people are more likely to apply for it because it's seen as more appealing than what it is currently. Green skills is a massive topic at the moment.
I guess, yeah, they're in a different headspace, aren't they? They've got a different agenda than what you and I are decades apart, but it wasn't anything in my schooling about the environment or sustainability. But then everyone did it differently anyway. DRS isn't a new thing. That's an old thing. It's now coming back. And I think that, they've got a different agenda, and that's great because it's been brought to the surface that you do need to look at sustainability. So I guess those key words in career are different. And have they looked at that? The message that they're getting across to the younger people?
I think, in the environment is much more of a pressing thing for my generation, I would say, and younger, because we're being told the world's ending in 8 years or whatever. So I think people are worried about it, and I think if it's communicated to them the right way, then they would definitely, want to be part of our sector.
And part of the change.
I think the job has changed. I mean, if you're working at the back of a bin truck, it used to be a job where you would throw a metal bin over your shoulder and tip it into the back of a truck. Actually, now that is, the guys who are collecting the waste, they're operating computers, they're operating complex machinery. They're making decisions about whether the waste is correct, whether it's been presented properly. In a lot of cases, they're making decisions and giving advice to residents. So they're much more than just a bin man. To use the old phrase, they are. And I don't know how you best describe that, but it isn't the job it used to be. It's a much more skilled and complex job than it used to be.
And technical as well. There's a lot of technology now, isn't
absolutely.
there? It's not just one guy saying, this is the round I've always done, so I'm going to do... Well, I mean, sometimes we still get that. But as a rule, it's not just that, because the technology is there now, so they have to be tech savvy to be able to do it and make choices and decisions that best save money for the council.
And I think that's part of the transition that the industry has still got to go through, because if there are sort of people in the sort of senior parts of the industry that are in their 50s and have come from that background, a lot of waste managers and ops managers did the job on the ground, back in the days when it was a much more simple manual job. If you are recruiting and your mindset is that you want people to do that job, that's not the job they have now. So your paying conditions have got to be different, because they've got to reflect the fact that it's not a job where you just pick up your keys, drive around the truck for 6 hours, and then go home, and nobody bothers you or asks you any questions. You don't have to do anything other than that simple manual job. It's now a skilled job, and it needs to have skilled pay, because the people that are doing it have got other options. They can operate computers, they can operate machinery. They can do other things. So you have to have an entire offer to the workforce, which is partly about pay, but it's also partly about conditions and working hours and flexibility. Shift patterns at work for families, and again, that can full circle to making the industry available and open to people of different demographics, of different genders, of different family backgrounds, so that they can work in that industry. And
that kind of leads on nicely, actually, Tim, to something that you mentioned to me previously about this prison reform scheme and getting into waste. That's a different demographic. How did you even hear about that, and what?
So Baker's Environmental got in touch with me about the Inside Out Academy program that they do, and there are a few other programs out there as well, which I'm glad about. But basically, they kind of educate prisoners on how to work within a waste environment, and then they come out of prison and then have roles within Baker's environmental. And, we were talking about green skills. I think it's a really good way to kind of green skills. There's a green skills shortage, and prisoners need purpose and a job when they come out into society again naturally. So yeah, I'd just like to shed some light on that, because I think that's a really good way of kind of solving two issues at once.
Yeah, it's not an area that I've ever, I guess, thought about or known about. So it's really refreshing that something else is being looked at for a different demographic of person. Do you happen to know how successful it's been so far? Or
I've heard of a lot of positive case studies, and I think we're potentially going to work together in the near future on something. There are smaller versions of that, like where people can send bicycles into prison and then the prisoners will fix them and send them back. And I just think stuff like that is a really good, we can work with prisons rather than not get involved at all. So yeah, it's a really good way of community and as well, in a sense.
Yeah, definitely. I like all these like repair shop community-based groups anyway, but also bringing that in. I've heard of like where they do baking and stuff.
Yeah.
Because we've got a prison quite close to us at Lewis, and I know that they do baking and things, and that goes out into the community. But I've never heard of this side of things, so it's quite interesting. I'd like to learn maybe a bit more about it. Oh dear.
How's your clock treating you, Tim?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my clock is fine. Thank you for asking.
Shall we add a little bit of context to this? Because if we keep this in and don't edit it out, that sounds really weird. Either you two know each other way better than I thought, or it was on LinkedIn the other day that after a motivational speech, was it that you had come in, speaker?
We had a team building session.
Okay.
It was one of those weird months. I walked into this team building session that we'd organised as a company. I hadn't organised it, Nina had done it. And I walked into the room and thought, I'm in the wrong room, because I looked at all the people, I didn't recognise any of them, but they were all our new recruits. That's why we needed a team building session, because just so I could get to know what these people's names were. So we're heading towards 60 people now. We had an explosion of staff. So we had this motivational guy. The idea was just to get everybody together in a room. So we got a local motivational speaker in, and then we went and did bowling afterwards. So that was that. And one of his things was, don't take your phone to bed, and don't scroll in the morning, don't scroll at night. So I thought, when you do these things, you've got to try and take one action away and do it. So I went and bought a new clock.
So has it made a difference so far?
Well, my phone's charged in the morning because it's on charge in the kitchen on the night. So yeah, but yeah, I wasn't a massive scroll before bed person, but I did tend to wake up in the morning and the alarm would be on my phone. So I would then sort of turn the phone off, and then I would sit in bed for 15 minutes, 20 minutes scrolling, when actually I could be up and do something useful. So yeah, 2 mornings in a row I've got out of bed and done something useful.
You said that you've got a sunrise lamp.
Yeah.
So do you have a phone as well?
Yeah, so I am really bad for kind of waking up at like 3 a.m. and then thinking about stuff and then going on my phone and then being really tired when I actually have to wake up. I've got a sunrise lamp and it works really well.
Yeah, I've got one. It's just not on. I haven't turned it on. It's
for
there.
show.
Yeah, it's just there. But I don't. I've got this anxiety anyway, which I'm working on. That if I don't have my phone on me, something's going to happen and someone's going to need me, and that's my only issue with it. But I've been reading on my long journey to Fife the other week, which was lovely because the train journey is just absolutely beautiful. But I've just started reading Let Them. And there's a whole concept. Look it up if you want to. It's amazing. It's really good, the Let Them theory. But one part of it is this morning routine and an evening routine, which is pretty much the same as what you're saying. But it's like you don't put snooze on, and you get up and you do certain things. So you make your bed and you don't look at your phone until a certain point. I think it's like at least half an hour after you wake up, because if you don't promise yourself some time, then what are you doing? Like if someone said, can you get up at 6 and drive me to the airport? You'd always say yes, wouldn't you? And you would get up regardless and do it. But you don't do it for yourself to have a better morning. And I really like that concept. But saying that, I read that 2 weeks ago, and I've still yet to do it. So I really want to try it, but not yet. So I'm keen to learn what difference it makes in like a few weeks for you, Tim, and I might buy myself a clock as well, or at least set up my morning sunrise one.
How
Yeah,
good
well,
are you?
I'm not. Sorry, I'm not sleeping well at the minute anyway, 'cause we're in a new house and everything's different, and yeah, everything's wrong. So I'm waking up 5 or 6 times a night anyway.
Oh yeah.
But not waking up and grabbing the phone is definitely good. But I do tend to go back to sleep.
How good are you at kind of switching off from work and
I
work-life
don't.
balance? And
I don't. But that works for me.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to sit here going, oh, woe is me, I've got no balance. It's not that. I've chosen this because it works for me in the job role that I wanted. So especially, and I've done a podcast about this before with some of the female members of our team who have had children. When you have a child and you want to progress in a career, it's really, really difficult as a woman. It really is, because for whatever reason, which it shouldn't be the case, but it is, and you get pulled away. And I refuse to let that happen. And John refused to let that happen. So,
Good.
but what it's meant is that the two lives completely combine. So I'm always Fred and I'm always Permasev. So I've always got that life balance.
Yeah.
But there's very little outside that yet. But he's only 3. So once he gets older, that dynamic will change again. But it's meant I can be the mum that I wanted to be and have the career I wanted. And like little things I won't go over it all again, but I'm really passionate about it because I think that you should still have the availability to be a mum. Of course you should. And like even little things, when Fred was little, he was a very sicky child. And I had trouble with childcare a lot. And I was due to do an event with Tim, and I was like getting myself all upset. So I was like, Tim, I can't do it. I've got no childcare. I think Fred was like 5 months old or something. So just bring him. Like, when does that happen in
What
any
kind of event
industry?
was
It was one of their bug user groups, which is actually, you've got in a couple of weeks another one at the same place. It's at the Motor Museum, which is a lovely venue. And I just thought, I can't. But then I thought, oh, actually, why can't I? And it was as if it was nothing for Tim. It's like, just bring him. Like, what's going to happen? I was like, oh my God. So then we got everything sorted. I even have a little T-shirt for him because he had a superhero theme. So it's a little T-shirt for him of a superhero. And I was ready. I'd even done the room with the cot bed, everything. And then the day before, something changed with my husband's shifts and then he could have him. And I was kind of actually a little bit disappointed that I didn't take him in the end.
We were all disappointed.
Yeah. But it's magic as a woman to be able to have that ability to do that, and that's why I'm so lucky. So yeah, I don't have any work-life balance, but it really suits me for everything that I wanted. So I'm really lucky, and not everyone has that same story.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I find myself scrolling LinkedIn at like 10 p.m, but sometimes that's when things are happening.
Yeah.
And I'm not mad about it.
I think if you love your job and you love what you do and you're passionate about it, who's to say when you do what you do? Because it's no longer work then, is it? It's investment in loads of different areas. So yeah, when I go on holiday, I don't switch off. I don't want to switch off. I want to know what's going on. I want to know that
Everything can change in a week.
Yeah, exactly. A lot can change overnight in this industry sometimes, and I want to know about it, and I want to keep that passion. And if I don't, then I shouldn't be doing it. And this is the first time I've ever felt like that, and I love it. So yeah, I think you should just do you, and people can have their own judgments about it, and because it doesn't work for them, and that's absolutely fine. But this works for me.
Being a mum, how do you feel about the way that the waste sector kind of manages maternity and new mums in general? Because I know there's a lot of positive schemes that I've seen recently about kind of managing that in a positive way.
I think I was really lucky.
Yeah.
Because John and Permaserve as a whole, it wasn't a thing. I didn't want to have loads of maternity, and that was my choice. I had 3 months. It was stupid to go to Glasgow at 3 months. That I will accept. After a C-section, going to Glasgow on the train was a stupid decision. But I got so supported by Geraldine at LetsRecycle.
Love Geraldine.
Well, one of the things I did not think through, there were loads, but the main thing was I was breastfeeding. And I was a long way away from my child. And I was like, oh, we've got a situation here. So I went over to Geraldine. She's like, absolutely fine. We'll sort out a room for you. We'll get it all sorted. And it was
She's got everything.
I had fans.
Any event.
I had the room. I had a meeting room for about 25 people just sitting there on my own, pumping away, like, Just like, okay, this is okay. I can do this. And back in the room. And it wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
And I've always had this with equality or anything. If it's no longer a thing, you're winning. It shouldn't be a thing that women feel bad that they've got a baby, or they feel bad because they're breastfeeding, and they still want to work. You should just be able to do it. And I could, and I did, and I had support, and I had people helping me put my stand up because I couldn't do it. I didn't have to ask. People just came over and helped. And then Geraldine helped me put things away, and she made sure I had a fan because you were hotter than the centre of the earth after having a baby. And I had this room available to me, and it was just lovely. And she gave my hotel was actually at the same place, so I could go upstairs and just chill out for a little bit as well. And yeah, it was. I think it's one of the best experiences for me. I don't know how it's other people, because a lot of mums have more time off.
Yeah.
By choice, and quite rightly so. So I don't know what other experiences there are out there, but I would imagine it would be the same. It's the same people around in waste, isn't it? And I'm hoping that everyone would have a positive experience.
Yeah. And just on Geraldine is a great example of a great woman in waste.
Oh my goodness, she is awesome. I've just got so much time for her. She can't do enough for everybody. And her career.
Yeah.
I briefly
She's lived
heard
1,000 lives.
Oh my God, I didn't even know about half of it. And we did the Excellence Awards, and we happened to be on the same table.
Yeah.
And we were just chatting about her children and her journey as a mum and career. It was an amazing journey, and I was like, that's exactly what I wanted and what I'm going to hopefully do. And I think that everyone should have that. But I do know a lot of women in my life that have not had that. And they haven't been supported back into the workplace, and they're judged. And like, if they have to take more time off work for their child, they're judged. It's really hard. Or when you're pregnant,
Yeah.
not having certain things put in place to help manage that. And I think that's just a learning curve. And I'm really hoping that other businesses listen more, because it's not a disability. It's you're pregnant, but you need to have allowances made for you to be able to do your job still effectively, but around creating a human.
Well, that's what we were talking about, more flexibility. I think my generation, and no doubt the one after me, I think we have kind of a bit of a higher expectation of what a workplace can give us. So I think, in order to get more women into the waste industry also, we need to kind of make those allowances.
Yeah. And I don't think it would take much.
No.
Like, genuinely. But I think if you have to choose over being a mother and your career, that is awful.
Yeah. You already have to sacrifice so much.
Yeah, and I don't know of any man in my life that's ever said, I've had to choose between my career and being a dad.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to choose. I wanted to do both, and I've done both, and I'm so fortunate. And I just think there's lessons to be learnt there, because it's not big things. It's small things to help, but it does work. And things like having support from your friends within the industry, Tim saying, just bring him.
Yeah.
Or being able to do meetings when I had Fred with me and not feel, oh, I've got Fred here, don't think I'm not a professional. No, I'm professional, but I have my child. It's absolutely fine. And just to make it normal, like, that's absolutely... Obviously, if he's screaming and I'm on an important meeting, I'm not going to do that. But if he's just... I did quite a few meetings with him here. Like, no one saw him. And it does... I wasn't hiding, but equally... I was still doing it. And I think having that support from everyone within the industry, like the Geraldines with helping with breast pumping when I hadn't thought that through, and Tim making it really normal to be able to bring my child to an event, then so be it. Small changes, massive difference in getting women confident that they don't have to make that choice.
It should be as much of a thing as a cat coming up on the camera in Zoom or something.
Yeah.
Just, that's cute. Anyway, let's get down to business.
Exactly. And I just think it shouldn't have to be a thing. It shouldn't have to be talked about. It should just be normal. That.
I mean, just putting a word in for the dads here. I think it's not it's not purely an issue for women. I mean, men, men of my generation and the generations after, and there are several generations after me. I'm at that end of end of the career spectrum now. I think we're in a position where it's now the norm for both parents to work.
Yeah.
So men need that flexibility, as do women. And I think there's still a way to go for a man to feel comfortable to say, I need the time off because it's school sports day, or I need time to take my child to the dentist, or I need the time off to do normal parenting things. And I think at the same time as we're getting better at allowing women to do that stuff easily, we need to allow men to do it just the same. Because
100%.
It's
I
more
think
of a
it should
societal
be.
issue as well, isn't it? Like you don't feel like, so paternity is less than maternity, right? So you feel like you want to be more actively involved, but you feel like you have to provide for the family, and that can be tricky as well, I'm
I
sure.
would like it genuinely, again, equality, both have the same situation.
Yeah.
So you make the same choices. Like one day, if the child's ill, the dad takes a day off. One day, the woman takes a day off, or whatever, so that it is equal, but equally regarded. So I do know some men who took, because you can split maternity now. So this couple, she did the first 3 months and he did the second 3 months. She was judged. I was like, no, why is this now a thing?
Yeah.
This is amazing. This is exactly what we've been looking for, is equal. You're both parents. You both want to have that relationship with your child. That's exactly what we should be doing, sharing that responsibility. And as soon as we get to the point where, like I say, it's not a topic anymore for either, then we've got work to do.
What will we talk about?
I don't know. There's so many other things we can talk about, which leads us on to what are we going to talk about next?
I think we're all involved in different different community and sustainability and charity ventures. I think the waste industry, more than ever, and perhaps more than any other industry that I am aware of, has so many things going on that support the community. Now, on a simple level, it's I'll say simple level. On one level, you've got social value, which is increasingly being written into tenders. So any sort of waste infrastructure project will come with community benefits, and we're seeing that in our tenders. But also, you look at things like the event that goes on Western-super-Mare every year, where they do a competitive bin loading thing.
I have
There's
not
charity
heard
golf
of that.
days. Oh, have you
What
not?
is
Yeah,
that?
Sounds very
there's
niche.
there's the Waste World Cup. There's all sorts of things going on in the industry that people do for benefit. And I think I just want to say that it's a really good part of this industry that everybody's supporting different things, and it really does generate more than just the financial returns. It does actually do a lot of positive benefit, and I think that again is increasingly important to the generations after me. I was really depressed when you said that at primary school you were running a website. We
I
on the
love
day
that.
on the day I left primary school, we got a hi-fi system. That was the technology.
I don't even know what that is.
Tim, you're going to show your
You don't know
age.
what that is?
Oh, God. Tim,
That
stop
was
now.
cutting
We're
edge
going to
technology,
age
yeah.
ourselves now. Obviously,
Yeah.
I'm sure
we're
it was
not that
pretty
old.
low value, like low budget website, to be honest. I can't really remember it, but
I mean, I know that when it wasn't a thing, I didn't even know that word. I've still got an AOL account.
Yeah.
I do
what
know.
that
I
is?
do
You
know what
what
that
that
is.
is. Okay. I mean, that's going to close soon, surely. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone says
But
that when they look at me like, AOL. I'm like, I'm reluctant to change it. I know it. I've had it since the day it was announced that AOL was the big thing, and I couldn't get Louise. I was like devastated. Louise 1 gone, Louise 2.
Can you imagine, Louise, if you worked for the Profit Project and you had to say that as your email address every day?
Yeah.
At least AOL, you can spell it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can't even say it, let alone spell it. God.
Sorry, coming back to us, the point I was trying to make was that all the stuff that the industry does for benefit. Do you think that is a big part of attracting people into the industry to work in it, as well as just salaries? You would talk about the younger generation wanting more out of work.
Well, for me personally, I worked in B2B publishing since I was 18, as we already said. The reason I wanted to work in the waste sector is because it felt like it mattered and it felt like there was a charitable aspect to it. Obviously, throughout all of my roles, honestly, I've always tried to platform NGOs and charities within that, but it feels like they kind of go hand in hand, and for me, that's really important. And I feel like at the moment, it can, like, a lot of what's going on in the world can feel quite negative, and I think if people feel like they can make a difference in some small way, then they want to do that. Because social media, we just see kind of devastation. Don't want to take a turn, but it can feel very full on. So I feel like if you can go home at the end of the day and be like, I'm glad I contributed to something good, then that works for me.
There's a paper called The Happy Newspaper. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
I heard it on Radio 2, Jeremy Vine, acquired taste, I appreciate that, but I went through a phase where I was obsessed with that show to the point where I'd only do meetings around Popmaster and then I'd listen to him and I'd be part-time. I would not take a call through Popmaster and then I would do Jeremy Vine, and he had this woman on who did The Happy Newspaper, basically around the concept that all media was devastation and negative, and actually she did a whole paper, and it's every quarter I think at the moment while she picks up speed, and it's all positive news. And it's really nice actually, because and I share it around my friends because I do think it shows a lot of the community stuff that isn't actually. They don't want to publicise happy stuff, do they? But it's quite nice. I was just going to do a shout out for the Happy Newspaper. I don't know how big they are now. This was a long time ago that I was into Radio 2. But I think it's a really positive thing because I don't buy any other papers now. That's the only one I have.
Yeah, I mean, I've read books as well that just has like happy news from the year, good statistics, positive things. And yeah, I think it does make a difference.
I think it does. And also, you do hear about some really good projects that you just wouldn't hear about.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of animal ones, obviously, and then people doing amazing things in their community. And do you hear about some of those amazing things that people are doing in communities? I don't.
That's why I love picking out case studies for our conferences because, governmental stuff can be a bit heavy. People obviously have lots of opinions about that. And it can feel quite divisive. But at the end of the day, we can all come together and look at some positive charity projects or within councils as well, and it just feels like that brings the group together at the end of the day, and they leave.
How do you go about finding these projects then to be included into these events?
Some through our awards, and a lot just through kind of reading online, LinkedIn. We get sent them as well. Some I hear about in my personal life, and then I kind of bring it in. So yeah.
Any stand out? Or that you look for?
I think generally I'm quite drawn to ones that affect children, and also there's also this positive stuff going on with children within schools working on waste and recycling initiatives as well. And we always try and cover those because I think it can feel a bit, if it's like a small town, small school, but we're always going to try and bring coverage to that. I think it should
really
be
like
celebrated.
these libraries that have started.
Library of things.
Yeah, I think that's a brilliant concept. So we were looking at doing one for garden equipment, and we were going to do like a pop-up. So I can say pop-up library, that people can go and borrow tools for the garden and stuff. I think we might try and do that next year, but like this kind of time, springtime. But I really like that idea because they do children's toys as well. So like even at our library, they have these big bags that you go in and borrow like a book.
Yeah.
So instead of like buying all this plastic and all this rubbish toys that break quite easily, actually, in reality, you go and borrow it, take it back. Kids get bored.
Yeah.
We recycle them between my friendship group, and Fred does not even notice when it's not there. The shop that he was obsessed with and played with all the time, he hasn't even noticed, hasn't been there for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Because they don't. They find something else, and I think it's a much better way of just, instead of buying all this rubbish and filling your house, maybe start a group whereby you all share and you share the books.
It also lessens any shame as well around buying something and being worried because you can't afford it, or also feeling like you can't buy your child what they want because within reason. I feel like everybody wants to do that, right? And
Of
then,
course.
yeah.
Make it normal to share those things, because all the stuff that we share between us, the only thing that gets ruined is the books. And that is always my child that ruins the books. But that's the only thing. All the other stuff is just played with for like 5 minutes and then put down because they've moved on to the next thing. But it would be nice to normalise that. And clothes. Go on, Tim.
My mum took us to a toy library when I remember going to this toy library when I was maybe 8, 9 years old, because my brother has a disability, and it was a group based around that. So obviously you buy toys, mainstream toys, and if your child's got a disability, they may or may not be able to engage with that toy. So yeah, it was basically, from memory, it was a glorified playgroup where all the mums got together with their kids, all the toys were in the middle, and when your particular child found a toy it liked, borrow it, take it home for a couple of weeks, come back in a couple of weeks' time, chuck it back in the middle, get something else. And it was a great social thing. It didn't cost any money, and everybody got something out of it. And I suspect, corporations were not selling as many toys because of it. So, those sort of things don't get a lot of support.
Yeah, and it's a shame,
But
really. I think ours happened. Go on, Tim.
if you train your social media, if you're not passive on social media, if you train the algorithm and actually look at the things that you really want to look at, the algorithm can work to your advantage, and it will show you things that you want to see. I'm going to be in a music video in a couple of weeks. Now
I saw that on
no
LinkedIn the other day.
We need to know,
Yeah.
where can I watch this?
They did an ad on it yesterday, wasn't it?
No, I did.
Who's the singer?
Yeah, so it's Randy's Man Club. It's a singer I've never heard of, but my algorithm knows that I like Andy's Man Club and I like music. So I saw that thing. But then you've just got to engage with that, and then the algorithm learns further, so you get to see more of those things. You've just got to take those opportunities. So if you see a group, a toy library nearby, or somebody who's loaning gun tools, get involved online, go and do it. Post it back on your social media, and you'll reap what you sow. So
Yeah,
be
that's a
active
really
on
good
social media
point.
rather than just scrolling.
Ours happened organically, and I'm sure there's loads of other groups of mums that did it as well, but you just don't hear about it because, again, like you're saying, my algorithm probably isn't correct and I don't see it, but I'm sure there's loads out there, because I've recently been to a clothes swap, which seems to be a big thing now, which I absolutely love, because my child grew out of clothes within 6 weeks. He still does now. And the clothes are really expensive, but he's hardly worn them. So you take your bag of clothes that your child doesn't wear anymore or grown out of, then you get given a bag and you go and fill it up with the next size up. I was like, this is brilliant. I got loads of stuff, and then the person, and we also recycle as a group. So my child happens to be the largest out of everyone, so we hand down, and then they hand down, and so forth. So all of them have got maybe 5 children's wear out of already, but they're still fine. And I think make that more normal, because then like textile waste is still a massive issue, and plastics is a massive issue, and we can all do our thing plus save money. I think it's a lovely thing to do. So I want to take this kind of opportunity to thank you both for having a part in the Little Green Book, which is going to be launching in the next couple of weeks, depending on when this podcast comes out. So you've done the introduction to it, so thank you so much for that. And Tim, you're doing a piece in there as well around the technical side of the garden waste, which is brilliant. We're trying to get as many people in the industry as possible to get their knowledge out there to help more councils make informed decisions, shall we say, around the market. So thank you so much for doing that. And obviously, if you want to join the Little Green Network or sign up for the book, then follow the link below. So I guess that's it, guys. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you so much.
And thank you
for
joining us. Your first podcast. How did you find it?
Let the viewers decide.
Report below. Poll to follow.
No, I thought it was good. And I think a real theme of this has been community is key, which I'm happy to have done. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that. Maybe we can bring that into an event in the future, actually doing a piece on just that.
Yeah.
So, perfect. Right, thanks, Tim. Thanks, Libby.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.